What is good, YouTube, man? Y'all know me, no bullshit, none of that extra shit. I'm gonna jump straight into it. But real quick, I do want to say I definitely just recorded this entire video for y'all. Spent 16 minutes recording this video, and my microphone wasn't connected or something weird. So real quick before I jump into it, I do just want to ask y'all, you know what I'm saying, I've been giving y'all a lot of free sauce. I've really just been giving y'all, you know, what I really wish I had as a beginner trader in my early stages, giving that back to y'all, but like I said, for free, you know what I'm saying, on here on the YouTube. So if y'all could, like I said, I'm doubling back with this video for y'all. If y'all could just like, you know what I'm saying, subscribe for me, turn on post notifications, you know what I'm saying, it helps, you know, it really motivates me seeing y'all's comments, seeing y'all's DMs, y'all sending me a lot of the trades y'all been taking lately. Y'all hitting, man, you know what I'm saying, y'all dropping comments, telling me how motivated you've been, you know, how I've been inspiring you to, you know what I'm saying, really just lock in, and you know, I really appreciate that. So y'all show love, man. I appreciate all the support. But let's get into the trade. So real quick, actually, yeah, so the first thing I want to do is I'm gonna put the video up here. I really just want to, you know, I actually screen recorded this trade live, so you know, let's go ahead and watch that first. And you know, like I said, I just want to break that down live. So ready, 3, 2, 1. Boom. So first things first, just entered the trade. First things first, I want to note, obviously we're on the 5-minute time frame. So we got a good 5-minute order block, right? Obviously we have a good 5-minute fair value gap as well. What else can we note? Okay, we have a great 70% OTE retracement level on our Fibonacci. And not only that, I can just tell you, just from me, you know, this was my trade, right? I can tell you as well, we had, you know, I'm gonna break all that down. Let's just watch this. So boom, I just entered. We got a pretty good entry, and I like to enter as price is bullish so I can get the best entry as possible. Now, obviously, y'all see I'm in a little bit of drawdown right now, down about 200-300 for just a moment, but we put our stop loss to that high of the body. Now, I felt like this trade wasn't really necessary to risk to the high of the candle, the entire wick. So we risk to the high of the body, right? Once again, you know, in a little bit of drawdown, we're risking 11 points here. So we're only negative about really like 5, 6, you know, points, 8 maybe, but got very, very close to our stop loss. But I'm confident in my trade, right? I'm confident in my position. I'm down to hold because at the end of the day, this same strategy has been printing thousands of dollars for me on the daily for the past years, right? So when I'm entering this trade right here, right, I'm not having to think based on emotions, right? I'm not thinking, you know, I'm not scared of anything. I don't have to think, you know, I'm just operating like AI. You know, you type in a prompt and it just does it for you, right? Similar thing. Obviously, you know, I'm not AI, I have emotions, but I've gotten to the point, you know, where I develop them and I've developed my discipline. You know, I have enough trust and faith in my own system that boom, I'm gonna enter this trade, right? And I don't gotta think twice. Because, you know, I've been making the results, my students been making the results, and you know, like I said, this is a live example of how to exactly let the results play out in your favor when you just fall back and let the setup play out, right? So like I said, I was in drawdown for just a moment on the 5-minute time frame, and as you see, the candle turned very bearish, right? So we got a good John Wick sniper entry, right? Y'all know, y'all been keeping up with my Instagram at WildBray. Y'all know what it is. Y'all see me posting these all the time, right? So it was only a matter of time where I finally lock in for y'all and start bringing these breakdowns, start really helping y'all. You see the 1 to 5, almost basically a 1 to 5 risk to reward here. So for anybody who doesn't know, that's basically saying, let's say I risked 100 on this trade. You know, you could have risked 100 on this trade and you would be making 500 back, right? So boom. And real quick, I want to say to y'all too, I don't know why my trade locker was definitely a little bit laggy this morning. So in a little bit here, you know, as I get closer to TP, you see it starts to lag a little bit as far as like the price and stuff, but it actually ended up playing out in my favor because, you know, price, I set my TP and then it slipped below my TP a little bit, so it actually gave me a little bit extra profits, right? But y'all gonna see it. But yeah, man, like I was just saying though, only the matter of time I really just lock in for y'all, start getting real consistent, bringing y'all just, you know, higher level content, right? I just upgraded my program, my mentorship program, Blueprint 2.0, right? So, you know, bringing y'all a lot more game. And obviously, if I'm giving y'all this much back for free on YouTube, then, oh yeah, for sure. In that private community, we all leveling up day by day, and it's actually, you know, the growth is amazing so far. So boom, we're actually putting in our TP and our stop loss now. Now obviously y'all know, once you get up a certain amount, I would say a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So write that down, and you know, that's a note takers are money makers. That's something I learned in my early stages, right? As far as entrepreneurship as a whole or trading, note takers are money makers. So write that down. Once you get to 1-to-1 risk to reward, right? So if I'm risking, let's say 10 points, once I'm up about 10 points, that's a good indicator for you to say, you know what, this is when I can put my trade as break even, right? Because now I got to the point where I don't deserve to lose this trade, and at worst case, I'm either win, or at worst case, I'm gonna just go break even and make nothing, right? So, you know, obviously it took me a little bit longer to set it here, but I already knew. Hey, I already knew we was about to hit TP. Excuse me, not my fault, but I already knew we was about to hit TP. So, boom. But y'all see, in a moment though, I do end up. Yep, here we go. Grabbing my stop loss, moving it up to my entry point. Just so, like I said, I can always protect myself, right? Protect my trade. No point in me losing. I'm already up over 2,000. So why would I let this turn around and go lose? You know what I'm saying? That's stupid. We're not here to be stupid. We're here to make money. So boom, as you see, boom, TP hit, right? And I'll show you up here. You know what I'm saying? It did fill me a little bit even lower than where my TP was set at. So I actually made a couple extra dollars, but waited it out right here, and as you see, TP would have still for sure got hit, even besides the slip. So that's that 1-to-5 secured right there, right? I obviously gave y'all the live, you know, commentary, but I'm gonna go ahead and break it down for y'all as well on TradingView, just so you know, it can have a more better visual, right? So, and man, I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. Missing anything I was saying last time, y'all, because like I said, it was a 16-minute video I just did for y'all, and I really want to give y'all as much value as possible, so make sure I'm not missing anything. But let's remove all this and start all over, right? So first things first, right? First things first, y'all know the first thing, and you know, I want to say this real quick as well. You know, if you're confused about anything, check out all my other videos, right? I'm not just saying this just to say it, right? I don't even get paid from YouTube. I'm not even monetized. But on a real note, right, I've been dropping a lot of gems, right? Showing y'all these sniper trades back to back to back to back, and how to catch them back to back to back, right? So watch my other videos if you feel like you know, a little bit confused about anything and want more of an in-depth, you know, analysis or breakdown, whatever I'm trying to say, right? Just drop it in the comments. Like I said, I've been peeping it, and you know, I've been drop it in the comments for me. I got you. But watch all the other videos first. But let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go actually to, let's say, let's go 920 right here, right? So pre-New York, right? What do we know? So we have, okay, let's go down to, maybe let's say up to the 15-minute time frame, right? You know, we get our directional bias based on the higher time frame. Now for me personally, you know, pre-market is cool just to gather, you know, a couple quick mental notes and mark up a couple things. But as far as, you know, my strategy and how I like to see things play out, you know, I'm really more looking forward to how it plays right at New York Open, giving it that time to do its thing, and then, you know, going from there. But 9:27, a couple minutes before, we can note that, okay, over London and overnight session, we're, you know, basically trapped within this range here. Nothing too crazy, right? These are our lows right here. These are our highs up in here. You know, we didn't really do too much, just consolidated a little bit between this range. Nothing crazy. We got our highs from the previous day up in here, right? But our short-term buy-side liquidity, and I guess I left this marked up right here as well. Here's our short-term buy side, right? And then here's our short-term sell side, right? So this is just our most recent range leading into the New York session. So that's just, you know, our overall directional bias. Now, me personally, just looking at this, right, we can even go to a higher time frame. Obviously, it would look like, you know, price came up to these areas a few times and kind of turned around, right? Obviously, it looks like we're pretty, you know, it's been extremely We can even go to the 1 hour, right? It's been extremely bullish, right? So, you know, we're due for a little bit of retracement. If not, you know, we can't just expect price to just, you know, just buy up every day, right? So me personally, what I'm getting at right now is I'm more bearish already just looking at price action, right? Just seeing this reaction from up here, 8 o'clock, how we've been making its way right back down. Every time we kind of try to fight up, went down. Try to fight up, went down. Try to fight up, tank, right? Even this one wick right here. It's trying. Nah. All right, it's fighting, it's starting to come up. All right, but like I said, none of this really matters too much until New York, right? It's open for me. So, but like I said, mental note, I'm already a little bit bearish, so I'm just want to keep that in mind. And I hear some things that are further, you know, my extra confluences that are making me more confident in within thinking that. So first things first, on the markup we have our 1 minute order block, right? That's our 1 minute order block right there. Fix this up. Boom, we got our 1 minute order block, and that's really all right now. So 124, let's go ahead and click play. What time is it? All right, boom. All right, so this is almost our New York. Okay, so far though, like what are we, a minute before New York, tapped into our 1 minute order block. Let's see how we go from here. Instantly, okay, New York reaction. Oh shit, pause, slow down. All right, instantly we turn around off this 1 minute order block, right? A great reaction, leading me to further believe that, you know, price is probably bearish, right? So, you know, we have our market structure, you know, we have our bias telling us, and then boom, we have a 1 minute order block. That price, you know, heavily respected towards the downside. Let's keep it playing though. For a couple more minutes. All right, boom. Next thing, we swept this sell side liquidity, right? So, like I said, watch my other videos, man. If y'all know the steps to, you know how we do this, right? How we catch these snipers on a daily. Y'all know, okay, boom, we just swept sell side liquidity now. So, boom. While doing that, and what I mean, basically for anybody new is, you know, this further makes me believe, once again, that price is bearish because, you know, now we're sweeping to the downside. We're only probably gonna target more lows after that, right? So, but first, I see, okay, 1 minute order block, and then as well as we left a nice little 1 minute fair value gap within this, right? 1 minute fair value gap right here. And y'all know me, top dog with the Fibonacci for sure. So we're gonna take that from this high to this low, and as you see, the 1 minute fair value gap, you know, that's cool, but it only lines up with our 50% level, which, you know, is not ideal for me, right? This red line, this 70% is, you know, our optimal trade entry. That's called our OTE for a reason, right? That's our optimal trade entry. So that 50% isn't enough for me to just say, you know what, I think I want to, you know, turn around and get a sell off of this, but it's good for me to note, and it's good for me to keep in mind and watch play out. On top of that though, y'all know whenever I'm in my trades, I'm not just staring at the 1 minute, you know, you know, it's always top down analysis. So first thing in the morning, probably check out my 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15, you know, y'all see it on the top, right? Y'all see what times I got favorited. I go from top to bottom and I gather, you know, my analysis on each time frame first and make sure they all flow within each other as I go from top to bottom to get the directional bias. But as I'm also, you know, scouting for my entry, not only that, as I'm also managing my trade, you know, I'm rotating through the time zones as well. So what I'm getting to with that is, boom, if we go to the 5 minute, we also see, right, and this is good because the higher time frame is always more significant than the lower time frame. So, you know, I have some 1 minute, you know, I say indicators, but y'all know these aren't indicators. You know, we're simply reading price action right now, right? You know what I'm saying? Reading the candlesticks and we're reading price and how it's delivering. So I say the word indicator, you know, y'all know it's not really an indicator though, but you feel me? We have a few indications that price will continue to be bearish on the 1 minute, but now, you know, it gives me even more, once again, more confluences and more confidence that price should most likely retrace back into my point of interest, which is the OTE up here, and alongside the 5 minute order block right here. You know, it's just another good time for me to see. So boom, Let's go ahead and go back to the 1 minute and play this out again. So y'all know me, right? Like I said, I'm not trading based on any type of emotion. You know, this isn't fear based, this isn't greed based, this isn't none of that, right? I have a system, I have a plan, and I have I have operations that work. Works for me, works for thousands of other people, right? Everybody that I've taught this who actually takes it serious, they print this money too, right? Within their first couple of weeks, right? It's taken me months and years to really master this, but the way I've been able to, lay out the blueprint for someone else, and they can master it within their first few weeks and first few months and be able to duplicate the same results as me, right? I know this shit works, right? So that's why I want y'all to really pay attention when I tell you, boom. I'm not scared to get in this trade, right? I want to get in the sell as price is bullish, right? Because I want to get the best entry as possible. I don't want to wait for price to start turning bearish, going my way. Now I'm like, oh, I was right. Shit, let me get in. And now I just missed out on, a better risk to reward and, a better trade because I was being scared. I'm not scared. I know this shit works. And I want y'all to see this as well, right? I'm not going to hesitate once price gets up here. So let's go ahead and put our short position, right? Boom. We're going to target, our easiest target to find would always be if we're going off a retracement within this Fibonacci, this high to this low, our easiest target would obviously always be to find right back to the low. So boom. Now me personally, right? Like I said, with this 1 minute order block, that great reaction that it gave us, right? Our high being untapped up here, our buy side being untapped, our 1 minute came up. We retraced in the 1 minute like that, boom, and then we created a 5 minute order block, boom. We have the gap down there, but then we have the OT. All these things tell me that, look, I'm not risking up to this high, right? The most that I risk is to the body right here, just because if price is gonna go in my favor and go my way, it's most likely gonna do it quick. It's not gonna play around and bullshit and get all the way up here and then randomly. Nah, it's gonna do what it needs to do quick, and that's why I trade the way that I trade during the time that I trade, right? Time and price theory, right? I trade this strategy at this time on this exact pair for a reason, right? So I'm not here to waste time. I get in and I get out on some quick, good shit like this. Boom, let's click play. And y'all know this ain't talking in theory because we already watched the trade together. So boom, if you, like I said, take this serious, and your results are gonna get real serious too. Boom. So like I said, the 1 minute fair value gap though, price tapped into it, reacted a little bit, right? Consolidated just for a couple minutes, tapped into it again, came back down, right? Eventually made its way up higher, right into our OTE. That's where I got my entry. Y'all know it came up, it got pretty close to our stop, I'm not gonna lie. But that's why we know the things that we know, and we know that, hey, it's not gonna get up to this high. It's not gonna get here. That's why we put our stop loss there, right? You know what I'm saying? Boom. So we got in, and instantly, I mean, shit, instantly. That wasn't even fast enough for me to pause it. How quick and y'all know, right? Obviously, on my broker, right, I triggered my TP down here. The trading view don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Trading view is obviously just for viewing, right? As long as my broker, I entered and TP smacked here, hey, y'all know. And even look, it says 4, 3. You know what I'm saying? Mine said like 4.9, basically like a 1 to 5, right? So obviously with different exchanges, different platforms, it's obviously gonna be a little bit different, right? But y'all know I hit TP. Boom, we entered right here. You feel me? Goddamn, yeah. And within just a few minutes, TP hit. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not here to waste no time. I hope that was, like I said, man, this is my second take, so I was really trying to, think and elaborate on everything and make sure, I really give y'all as much value as I can, because I did take this first take the other time, and my mic wasn't on. So hopefully I'm giving y'all, like I said, as much as I can. And you know what? Comment funded, right? If you watched all the way this far, comment funded in the comments for me. You know what I'm saying? I would appreciate that. Appreciate that, just because, like I said, I've been taking note of, who's been, really watching and who's been commenting. It definitely motivates me to keep making more content for y'all. When I see, hella people's been DMing me, y'all been hitting, y'all been sniping on the trades lately, right? People been, yo, thank you, bro, I learned from you, right? That means a lot. When people are, in the comments saying, oh bro, I'm so motivated, I'm so inspired, boom boom boom. You feel me? That means a lot, cause like I said, I needed this when I was, you know, an early beginner trader. So the fact that I'm in a position now to be able to give back to y'all, like I said, I'm not even monetized on YouTube, right? Just being able to give back just because means a lot, right? So appreciate everybody. Like I said, drop funded in the comments if you actually did watch this far. And hey, I'm gonna keep going for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Drop in the comments what type of videos y'all want to see next. But with all that being said, you feel me? Hey, shoot me a DM on Instagram if it's anything personal. Y'all know my Instagram at WildBray. Hey, Funded Blueprint 2.0 is now live, and you know it will be shut down soon, right? I can't take on too many students, right? I don't got infinite time, so it will be shut down soon. For you to find out, you know, if you qualify or not, just hit the link in the below, and you know, y'all already know. Let's get this money.